Guys, I have an engine update, and this one's a little bit different. It's kind of like a prison escape moment. And this prison is actually staring at us at all times. These are called Euler angles, my friends. You can see the neon cat rotating, basically. Or technically shrinking. It's getting squeezed. But how would you modify Euler angles or Euler angles if you wanted the cat to rotate towards your mouse? What would you do? Right? What I did is solve the problem that was plaguing me for the longest of time. I solved rotation. I might have solved rotation across the entire world again, making a solution that is globally fucking groundbreaking. Not only we are killing polygons, but we're just casually plowing through multitude of problems that people have caused in the world. So welcome, guys, in the solution of rotation. Alright, you don't actually see anything rotated necessarily, except the grains of, you know, the blocks of dirt, I guess. That shit is rotated. And up to this point, I was using Quaternions. I was using some kind of fucking mystical concept that makes no sense. If you want to hear in great detail, my main channel has this. But I definitely need a short version that people can digest. It is important news, my friends. I have solved rotation even though the solution already existed. And no, it's not a fucking vector matrix either. It's something a lot more basic. So now that when I place a block, not only I place one block, which was the intended result, but they stack like this. They look kind of neat. You know, they stack into each other because that's just the block position being attached to the exact point of the other block. So they do stack into each other. But overall, this is very nice effect already. And the block stares directly at you. Alright, so I can actually modify the rotation quite easily to make it stare directly at you. There's only two things I genuinely needed. Random rotation across the y-axis, and a rotation that looks at another object, at the direction that I choose. And I realized that there is a good solution for this. And look how pretty this structure is. Like, you can build anything, as long as you have other blocks. Now, again, everything is flickering, everything is a little bit of a, you know, a mess. An expensive, low FPS mess, but the results are pretty fucking staggering to me. And again, we have beaten polygons. This is not typical polygon rendering whatsoever. So far, we have only been given, especially by Unity, Euler angles, right? And apparently Euler angles become a problem when you're trying to, like, I don't know, animate the angle rotation. Then you're trying to figure out, how the fuck do I do that? Do I do it, like, locally? Like, how do I rotate? Only Quaternions can let you basically choose which axis to pick and by which you're going to rotate your points, right? Meaning for a little bit more complicated tasks, you need to actually modify object rotation. Something like that. Something that I just gonna forget about, because I don't give a fuck about that. What is my solution to that? Because I actually flushed this shit down the toilet. I got rid of that shit out of my life. This is how it looks like. This is how much constipated shit has been clogging up my brain, has been replaced with this. This is my struggle combined with potentially working code, but I still haven't been able to master the potentially working code. I've been offered another iteration of this code, and it also didn't work whatsoever. And yet, this worked from the box immediately and is intuitive. I don't understand in what fucking universe I would ever use Quaternions if I already have an intuitive version that requires only 5 lines of code and already does the simplest thing of I decide which point to point at, and it will rotate towards that point. This is how it looks like on paper. You need to know the concept of normalizing a vector. That should be extremely simple. You just put vector inside a fucking circle or a sphere of size of 1. That's normalization. Besides that point, why rotation cannot just be a vector? I decided. I'm like, just vector. Yes, again, I understand the vector matrix, but the vector matrix is also a little bit unoptimized. Like, why do you need these to be vectors? You basically need a vector and a twist, a rotation. Let me show you how it actually looks like. Take an apple, for example. All right? Almost every object has a pointer, has some kind of a direction that you can draw from. And for the apple, this shit is the most obvious thing, even if it doesn't feel obvious. Wheels have it, arrows have it. Almost anything has a forward face that you can point at any direction you like, and it's the most intuitive thinking when it comes to rotating an object. You want it to rotate this way, you point it that way. That's it. You want it to point upwards, but you have a face on an apple, you can just redefine your arrow to some extent, but okay, you point upwards and twist the apple. And then it will face the camera with a face, if it's carved on it. I don't understand why am I supposed to just solve things for you, because this is actually a known solution. AI is telling me that this is used in robotics and aerospace or whatever. I will actually double check. This is where AI tried to fucking squeeze Matrix into me and telling me in my fucking eyes that this is Quaternion. That I'm using Quaternion. In what fucking universe does this make any sense? I'm clearly seeing the Matrix being used. This is not a Quaternion and didn't even work anyways. I can't understand what people have been doing, what people have been fucking smoking, where every single time I come in and just present the actually proper solution, the only time my mind has been blown is with AI, and that's it. The only time. So eventually I started talking to like, this makes no sense. This doesn't even work. Your code does not even work. Can you fix it? What if we just, I don't know, talk about Quaternions and Euler angles? Because they're kind of fucking stupid, you know? But oh, Euler angles have gimbal rod problems and interpolation is ugly. Okay, that's very interesting, isn't it? And then it's like, oh my god, it's a killer question. AI is trying to motivate you, but holy shit, was I on the right track, wasn't it? I just want to show you guys the answer where it's like, well, yeah, people use it in robotics. People do it with like, okay, maybe it's right here. People use it to do tentacles, ropes, spines, chains, right? Because it's easier when you know that the forward is gonna lead you to the next objects, right? Tentacle is made out of little objects, so they're kind of linked with their forward-facing vectors, right? Is enough for all practical purposes. It's like, what the fuck? What? What did you just say? That's enough? And nobody told me. Unity doesn't even use that. Aerospace and robotics, this is exactly how it told me that. Can you fucking imagine? And this is all you need to store. 4 values that you can understand and you can modify it easily. A fucking vector that points forwards, and this, which is an angle of twisting. That's it. And this is the function to rotate any fucking point that I need to rotate. That's it. What else do I need? And plus, it has bonuses on top of, like, now I can understand. I don't have to use Quaternion, something that I can't possibly understand because it's made out of complex numbers on 4 dimensions. This one, I understand perfectly. I can recreate this with my brain. I can recreate the numbers with my brain. And that's all you need. Basically, I feel like I escaped another layer of human prison, of programmers being tortured to use something that doesn't even make sense. And it's still there. Rotation is still there. Anchors. I had to escape the anchor prison as well when Unity introduced this garbage. It's crazy, dude. This is why I say I'm taking baby steps, because sometimes not using a specific solution and using a different solution is progress. Somehow, guys. Just like as I'm introducing these sorting systems, people potentially treat using list as a crime, even though it's superior to the arrays. It's just superior in almost every single way, and now it includes sorting. And I have recreated lists, and I know exactly how they work. They just have simple pointers. And often enough, you're gonna have an array of complex objects, not just integers, while pointers remain just 2 little integers that give you superpowers. And guess what? When you're doing operations, something like sorting, you might need some superpowers. You might need additional powers in terms of modifying what you're doing, basically, or performing operations, right? But this one is even more ridiculous because vector is so easy to understand, and when you understand it, it's just a 3D space kind of thinking, right? That's what vector is. It's like the easiest thing to just plug in a vector, normalize it, and that becomes your rotation. You don't need to think about angles, and you don't need to think about imaginary fucking concepts that make no sense. I solved it. I'm out. And I hope more people get out of this shit. I don't know what's going on. Now I'm scared. Do you know that if you click on this video, you are told to go to ether.net? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Are we creating bullshit concepts just to trap people or something? Like, are you fucking... What is going on? In Unit, it's crazy. It's crazy how much time it fucking wasted when none of this matters. When I can just solve it. Like, just with a simple thing. And I explained of, like, I can visually understand what it's like to point this direction, the Z direction, X direction, in between directions, points, and the simple algorithm of rotating is gonna solve the rest of the fucking problem. I don't have to explain this. You just plug it in and it fucking works. It's the most fucking magical thing, right? In the end, it becomes a meme of watching 35-minute videos or 31-minute videos just to, like, learn absolutely nothing. Just to have a feeling that, well, Quaternions are kind of like cool, mathematically perfect, and necessary things when they're not. And it might be hard to believe at first, but sorry, guys. You'll have to. You'll have to believe at some point. See you guys next time. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.